Hey y'all, welcome to Soulish.
Where we talk about soul shit.
I'm Larissa.
And my name is Francesca. And today we're going to be talking about sadness.
Yes, we are. A lot of things, honestly, in my life have been coming up. I'm going through a tumultuous time where I'm learning a lot about growth. And I'm actually really glad that Francesca brought up sadness, because that's what it takes in a best friend, to just call you out and help you talk about emotions that you're not trying to talk about. So props.
Yeah.
And for us, I think that it's really important for us to share that everybody gets sad.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has those moments. Everybody has that time that they need to take back and just... Sometimes you need a good cry. I think I said that on that other episode, but...
A good cry is amazing.
Yes. Sometimes you just need to open the floodgates. Let the jump. Do whatever. And that's what we're going to share today, that honestly, sadness is a thing. Everyone experiences it. No matter what you're going through, sadness is okay. You are enough to experience it. And we're just going to talk about it, because everyone goes through it.
And if I'm being honest, I'm happy about my sadness. Okay. Because I know that it's a phase. And I know that it's going to take me to the next level. It's going to take me from point A to point B. And once I get to point B, I'm probably going to get another emotion that's going to take me to point C. And I think it's good for us to get comfortable with that feeling of sadness, right? Because I think when we're young, we just automatically associate sadness as something that's bad, right? Something like, I don't want to be sad. Let me avoid sadness. Let me avoid crying, you know? But once you get older, you realize that you can't be happy all the time, that every situation isn't going to put a smile on your face. You're going to want to get angry. You're going to want to get sad. You're going to want to maybe just kind of take a step back and be like, okay, what is this emotion? Or what are these emotions that I'm feeling, and why do I feel them, right? So when I get sad, sometimes it takes me like a solid day. Sometimes it takes me longer, you know. I just kind of sit back and let it do its job, which is essentially showing you that happiness is this great feeling. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it just shows you just the balance of life, right? That we have some more positive emotions and some negative emotions and some emotions that are just necessary. And I feel like sadness is like right in the middle of the spectrum, right? It's like right in the middle of being happy and being mad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm actually really glad that you said that, because a lot of what I think about in terms of my own sadness is I definitely am that person that's just like, nope. No need to cry right now. You got it. You're tough. You can just fully work it out with not fully expressing all emotions. I feel that, especially like how, I'm just going to say our generation. I definitely feel our generation is one of the generations that's like, we're either categorized as overly emotional or we don't have a compass. And as people, you know, everyone is introspective and has their own, everyone goes through their own things. And as a societal term, I feel like that I definitely kind of played into that trope of you just don't need to cry, because that would make me an overly emotional woman. And when you bring up those things like sadness or anger or any other emotion where you're not inherently positive in most situations, I feel like it's like a ding ding ding. Like it makes you have to really focus on like what you're doing in that moment, who you're around, what your actions are saying, how you're feeling. Like just there's an all around if you're allowing yourself to feel the sadness, you essentially have to be perfect in your sadness. You have to be able to present it in a way that doesn't look messy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I understand. I feel like there are times that I get sad, and right now, it's just not the time to cry about it right now.
Right.
Not to say that I'm not going to cry about it,
Mm-mm.
but I'm here right now, like, I'm not necessarily shoving it in a box because I feel what I feel, but when I cry, I usually just like to close my door and just do it in my room.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, do I have a problem crying around people? At this point in my life, no. You've seen me cry. You know, like, I really, if I feel it, it's happening for the most part.
Mm.
Unless I'm at work or I'm, really in a setting that it's just, not that I can't cry, but I am going to make it about me when I feel like the space is right for that.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, it's a big point to feel safe in that.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard for me to explain that because from the outside it sounds like, oh, you're holding it in, you're not releasing that cry. But I know that if I'm going to get the most benefit out of that cry, I'm going to do it when I feel like, okay, this is the time to just get everything out. Right?
Yeah,
because then, and then also it's like, okay, I cry now, but I'm probably going to also cry later.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's nice to just get it out in one big cry. I find that I don't usually cry like in small sessions when I cry in one big time period.
For sure. And I think going back to how I said it earlier, for me, I'm not a crier. For me, it's also granted, like, Francesca has seen me cry, but for me it's a huge buildup.
Yeah.
Something has to tip that scale of me not being able to fully register how I process it, and that's not a bad thing at all. I've learned a lot, especially throughout my life, that some people experience that position the same as me, that some people are just able to have big cries, and some people have a tipping point, and some people be crying all the time. That's chill. Shit. I wish I could cry all the time. I wish I could let out a lot of what I'm feeling. But for me, with sadness, sadness doesn't come out that way. Sadness comes out more in the form of anger. And I know for me that my anger is, that Jones is not appropriate in, like, the settings that we're talking about. Because most of the time, I'm very aware of, like, my people pleasing. I'm very aware that, like, if I turn out sad, like, for example, like, if you just turn up sad at work, everybody's going to ask a question. If you turn up sad in a situation where you need to be prim and polished, people are going to ask questions. And I really like, going back to our previous episode, you have to be able to trust that space, that person, whoever you're putting your emotions in. You have to be able to fully trust for me to just let it out. And that takes a lot of work. And I think what's really amazing and beautiful about what Francesca brought up today, which is sadness, for me, is that I'm able to recount and fully acknowledge my steps in being able to actually say, like, I'm sad. And that's a big thing for me, is being able to not ignore, I don't know if ignore is the word, not ignore it, but not acknowledge the fact that I am sad, and be able to say, like, sadness is actually okay. You're allowed to experience this emotion.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's an emotion, but it's also an experience.
Yeah.
And after I lost my train of thought, it's an experience and it's an emotion, and I feel like, I just lost my thought. But
False.
it's that learning experience. I think that we have one opportunity in life to know as much as we can, most of, if not everything, about one thing, and that thing is ourselves. I have the opportunity to know as much as I want to know about myself. Do I take the time to do that? And I think that with sadness, you have to learn how you're sad. How you react in sadness. Some people push people away, need to regroup. Some people need people to surround them in that time. Everybody's different. And I think that every scenario in life is also different. So, I don't know.
No, I definitely feel that. And it's again going back to that safe space and being able to process you. And I think that that's what's really awesome is that you get that opportunity within yourself, regardless if we brought up this topic or not. I think it's good for a being to kind of have these hard things come up because it really helps you grow. It helped me as a person, for sure, having these conversations with Francesca, because she brings up things that honestly I ignore. If I'm being honest, I'll be honest on.
And I'll be like,
yeah,
what's that right there?
She's poking at me, and I'm like, I want to talk about it. And she's like, really though?
Nah.
And I'm like,
where are you going? Where are you going if you don't talk about it?
And she's right, and that's what's really awesome, especially in the relationships of my life. I pride myself on the relationships that I have. I want to continually surround myself with good people that push me, but that also acknowledge me in those different parts other than my happiness. And sadness honestly, sadness is a big part of my life. Sadness is not what I'm learning. Sadness is not this trap or let all be all, and it just turns to I don't know, what's that thing called when doomsday. I was thinking of a movie that's on a movie, and I was like, whatever. Doomsday. It's not all doom and gloom, and I think that's what's really important for me to continually recognize, especially in my practice, which I talk about a lot on here, is that Francesca helped me open that door, as well as other people. Many people helped me out with this, but it's really great that I'm able to kind of converse my thoughts on sadness back and forth, get another perspective viewpoint of how they personally deal with their emotions. Not necessarily deal, but can acknowledge their emotions. And we can all find that space and that ability to talk about them, which I think is really important because that is the way to kind of just pave an opportunity for you to grow. And continual growth for me, in my opinion, is that you're able to encompass yourself. You're able to let it all out, no matter what it is. Like, I want everyone in my life, everyone who sees this, to fully feel all emotions. I think one of the things that I harbor in my life is that I don't let myself fully feel. And that can be an inhibiting factor in life, is that I want to feel 100% sadness. I want to feel 100% joy. I want to feel 100% anger, and then I can learn about myself and how I'm going through those situations. And then, honestly, it just helps you be a better you for you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that I have a little meditation for everybody to do right now.
She always come through with the meditation.
So, obviously do what makes you feel comfortable. Eyes open, eyes closed, journal, whatever.
Shoot. What time my eyes?
But this is off the dome, so don't judge me.
Okay.
Okay.
Off the dome.
Yes.
All right, I'll close my eyes because I know you get.
So this week, I guess just say this to yourself. This week I want to set an intention for myself. I want to examine my life, examine the areas that I have sadness in. And I want to challenge myself to open those doors and interact with that sadness, understand my sadness. And I want to learn how I do the sad thing. Learn how I am sad. Learn what helps me get from point A to point B. And if there is a moment in this week that I experience sadness, I want to be able to think the moment. I want to be able to think the emotion. And I want to be able to speak this over myself. And I want to say that I'm grateful for this moment of sadness, for the experience, for what I can learn from it, and how I can be sad better, if that makes sense to anybody, and how I can live life with a deep friendship with my emotions and not a stranger to them. And that is the intention for the week. So I hope you all enjoyed this time. If you have any questions or you have any comments, you can comment, or you can reach out to us on Instagram at SOL__ISH.
Yeah, and we just want to say we love and appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for all your support, and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye.